Hey everybody, Jerry Cruzman, Maggie Fields. Today we're going to be reviewing scrambled eggs. Give you another shot. Scrambled eggs. In reality, it's going to be
yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly,
I think that's awesome. You may be wondering why we opened with scrambled eggs, which is the original title of the working title for Yesterday. Typical of the Beatles and some of the groups back in that day, they would use a working title to hold the music and the phrasing in place. So this Yesterday was originally titled Scrambled Eggs.
Interesting. Is that so that people wouldn't get word and they wouldn't know about what's going on and get like curious? Like, that's interesting.
Nope, it's just a working title. In fact, some of the original phrasing was kind of weird, and I think he actually sang something on Jimmy Kimmel or one of the late night shows that was kind of relative to the original lyrics until he came up with the lyrics for Yesterday. But no, it's nothing deceptive. It's just a lot of groups will have a working title until they so they can have a placeholder for the music and placeholder for the phrasing, and eventually come down with the original title and song. So you want to lead into this, please?
Yes, Yesterday. Not traditional for us here, since we have been reviewing 2021 films. But I had needed to watch this one, and Morgan has been begging me for 2 years to watch this one, and I don't know what took me so long, because quite frankly, this is one of the best films that I've ever seen. 2019 film. 116 minutes, PG-13, and it is on Amazon right now. I had to rent it for $3.99, and I will do that over and over again because it was just well worth it. So it's amazing, featuring obviously the Beatles music and lots of good songs, lots of good music. If you like movies, you'll like this. If you like music especially, you'll like this. If you like the Beatles, even better. It's well worth the watch. It's really, really, really good. So
I agree with you. We kind of dovetailed off of Cruella because of all the music, and it was kind of nice that you said, hey, we're watching Yesterday, and I thought, excellent, because that's a great segue into what we just jumped out of with Cruella with the music, and that's kind of what this film was all about. Do I look good? There you go.
I guess, this one's a little bit older, so if we want to do spoilers, we can, but I'm telling you, it kind of had the ending was really, really good on this one. I wasn't expecting it. A little bit of a twist on it, a little bit different angle that they went with, after, the two older couple, or the two older people that, he ended up meeting later on, that you see throughout the movie, that were like, oh, what are they going to do? But the way that they played that off was just, that was a really cool way of doing it. I like that. I'm like, what? So, and then, after the big concert in the end and, falling in love and the whole ending or whatever, it was really one of the best endings that I've ever seen. It really made the movie that much better. So when I was watching it, and Morgan and I were watching it, we were watching it on, our big TV, and we don't have a surround sound hooked up, which is unfortunate. So we're listening to it, and it's like, sometimes it got quiet and we couldn't, and their British accents or their English accents were so strong that there were times where we're like, what? What did they say? So we have to stop it and rewind it, whatever. So we eventually had to end up playing it on my tablet, where it was like right next to us, in front of us, so that we could hear it a little bit better, because sometimes they just, they're so into it and they're talking so fast that I was like, what? What'd they say? I know I want to hear it, because gosh darn it, it was a really good movie. It was funny. It was really funny in this dry sense of humor. God, it was so good. Before we talk about the cast, I wanted to talk about a couple of the parts that I really liked the best. And the first part was when he got out of the hospital and his friends invited him over and they were like, hey, got him a brand new guitar and, play us a little song or whatever. And he starts playing Yesterday. It was so emotional, and just their emotions on their faces. Like, you totally bought it. Like they'd never heard of the Beatles, in their eyes. And you could believe that, but they were tearing up and they were emotional too. I started having a tear in my eye because that song is just amazing anyway. It's just so beautiful. And when I was like, it's kind of getting me right here. It was just so neat. One of the funniest parts that I thought was when the two were driving in the car. So his Jack and oh gosh, I drew a blank with the girl.
Lily.
Lily, thank you.
It was Ellie.
Ellie. Oh yeah, because Lily's her real name. They're in the car, and after his teeth are knocked out or whatever, and he said he looks like some kind of reverse rabbit. With his teeth, I lost it. I was like, "That's the funniest thing I think I've ever heard." It's so funny. So that was a really funny part. But the whole movie was super funny, and his boss at the store, it was so dry and so just like he'd say one thing like, the customers like you. I don't really like you. I don't like your beard. I don't like the way you dress. I don't, whatever. And you're just kind of like, okay. But you can have a full-time job if you want it. But if you don't, you know what? Forget it. We're just like, what? So the fact that they pulled out, they don't remember the Beatles, right? And then, throughout the movie, they show other things that they don't, know or whatever. So he's immediately looking it up. And so the band Oasis, the Wonderwall
Can I get a Coke?
Yeah, he's like, excuse me?
What?
Cola?
Oh.
Like, oh, that's hilarious. That one was so funny. Oh man, I laughed at that one. But the other one, the cigarettes, like he's like, what's a cigarette?
What's a cigarette?
Did you see that it said something about the color purple? He was going to try to have the whole, like the color purple not exist at all. But it ended up being too hard to know all the people in the background. They couldn't, it was too hard to not catch all of everything in the background and stuff or whatever. So they decided to nix that, but I was like, that would have been really funny. So I thought that was quite brilliant to add in all the extra little things and, what's that? Just randomly. And you're like, oh my God.
So some of the Beatles, obviously you would expect the Beatles reactions to this. So Paul had revealed on a late night episode, Stephen Colbert, anyway, that he and his wife snuck into the cinema in the Hamptons to see the film, and they loved it.
Oh, nice.
Danny Boyle, who we'll talk about in a little bit, the director, he sent copies of the completed film to Ringo Starr and his wife Barbara, as well as George Harrison's widow Olivia, and received lovely messages from both parties. And then John Lennon's widow, Yoko Ono, also approved the film's depiction of her husband, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I love that actor, and I thought, wow, this guy looks really like. Really
I know, because I was like, that confused me for a minute. I'm like,
yeah, I'll bet it did.
All right, let's talk about the actors, Dad.
Go.
Okay, Himesh Patel. He is excellent. Man, he's got a good voice. He is from Cambridgeshire, England, born in 1990. Actor, writer, musician, and singer. He started acting at 11 years old in the school play, and he was in youth theater. He had piano lessons and bought himself an electric guitar and self-taught at age 13. I thought that was pretty impressive at 13 to teach yourself that. His parents ran a paper shop, and he delivered papers. He did a paper route until he was 21 years old. So that was pretty cool. He started out on a British soap opera called EastEnders at 16 years old. And as of 2017, he was the 10th longest serving actor in the history of that show. He stopped acting before that on that show in 2016 to pursue other opportunities. So, which I'm glad that he did. So
Yeah.
his film debut came in 2019 with Yesterday as Jack Malik, and he is working on his first original TV script with What Larks Productions.
You may have or may have not seen this, but Tenet. He was in the movie Tenet with John David Washington, who is the son of Denzel Washington.
So Lily James, born Lily Chloe Nanette Thompson. She's she's an English actress and model from the United Kingdom. She's 32 years old. And the reason that she goes by Lily James is that her father died of cancer in 2008, and she decided to take his last name instead because she found out that there was an actress already named Lily Thompson. I thought that was pretty sweet that she did that, because I was like, where the heck did Lily James come from? So anyway.
But it was exceptional.
She began acting in 2010 on the British TV series Just William, and then she was in Downtown Abbey from 2012 to 2015. In 2019, she starred alongside Gillian Anderson in the stage adaptation of All About Eve, and Gillian Anderson from The X-Files, which I used to watch all the time. It's pretty great. And then she also played the younger version of Meryl Streep's character in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
You ready for my intro?
Yeah.
This is the intro to the next person I'm going to talk about.
When I was 6 years old, I broke my leg. And I was running from my brother and his friend.
So,
Ed Sheeran.
Edward Christopher Sheeran. Almost say no more from a music perspective. Loved him in this movie. I'll talk about a couple things. His acting, so he debuted in 2014. He had a cameo role as himself in a New Zealand soap opera. It's called Shortland Street. And he filmed it while he was in the country for a one-off performance. In 2017, and this was the one I liked a lot, he appeared in a scene of Game of Thrones opposite Macy Williams, who plays Arya Stark. And one of the producers, directors explained that since Williams was a big fan of the singer, they wanted to have Sheeran appear on the show to surprise Williams. So that was kind of neat. I watched all of the Game of Thrones and saw that. In June of 2019, and this part is just wiping me out, he made his debut appearance in an advertisement for Heinz tomato ketchup. A lifelong fan of the product. He loves ketchup. Has it on everything from fish and chips to his morning sausage butty, upmarket dinners, carries a bottle on tour, and has a Heinz ketchup tattoo on his arm.
Oh my gosh.
So, in fact, the company was so inspired by his commercial and his advertisement that they released a limited edition ketchup product known as Ed Sheeran X Heinz Ketchup, also known as Heinz Edchup. Edchup.
That's funny.
I think it is.
That's too funny. So, and did you know that in real life, the Beatles are his main inspiration for his songs?
Yes, I did, but feel free to segue into that.
That's all I got.
I will share, and this is kind of a more of a personal kind of deal. So I had the distinct honor, privilege, enjoyment of seeing Ed Sheeran in concert in Nashville in 2017, and this was his third tour. It was the Divide Tour. A little bit about that tour. He toured from March 16th of 2017 to August 26th of 2019, 258 shows. Broke a record, or set a world record for the highest grossing concert tour and the most tickets sold by tour. So 8,787,000 people saw that tour, and the box office for that tour was $776 million. An exceptional concert. and I will never forget it. So there you go. I'll segue to you, Miss Maggie.
That is awesome. I didn't know if you had anything to talk about Joel Fry. I know that we've already mentioned him from Cruella. So
I do, and I like Joel. I mean, I'm glad you said that. It was just a little tidbit. We talked about him last time because of Cruella. 2008, 10,000 BC, 2019, Yesterday, and 2021 Cruella. Don't have a whole lot more than that, but a fun actor, and I enjoy watching him.
Oh yeah, he's funny. He's a little cut up. He's just funny. So Vincent Franklin, I was talking about The Boss with that dry humor, and he was confusing and small role, but it was really good. Just wanted to say that he was in The Bourne Identity, and he also was a writer for that, and The Illusionist as well. Kate McKinnon, can't forget her. She's so sweet. That's nice. She's the one that, remember a couple weeks ago, we had the question that said, if you could be any actor or actress or something, or if you would, I don't know, take the role, whatever. She's the one that I said. She's really funny. She hasn't been around for too long, but she was in the Ghostbusters 2016 film with all the girls, and then SNL, of course. And she's an actress and comedian, and born in 1984, but I feel like we're just going to keep on seeing her more and more. She kind of reminds me of Elizabeth Banks, her roles, her actress, comedian, and just kind of the way that she acts, her dry humor or whatever, but she's one of my favorites. I would like to meet her. Kate McKinnon, I want to meet you. We could be friends.
Ooh. You know what? Maybe she'll watch this podcast and she'll reach out to you. Amy Boyle, want to talk about the director?
Yes, do that.
So but his directorial debut was Shallow Grave. He did Trainspotting, and then the sequel, Trainspotting T2. Beach, 28 Days Later. Good scary movie.
28 Days
if
Later.
You like scary. Sunshine, 28 Days Later. Zombie. It's a zombie movie.
Oh, good.
So Slumdog Millionaire, nominated for 10 Academy Awards. They won 8, including Academy Award for Best Picture and Best Director. So very good movie. I saw it a long time ago. I want to say it's a 2008. I just said it. Very good movie. Great director. Interesting tidbit about him is that he was an altar boy for about 8 years, and his mother had aspirations for him to go into the priesthood, and he was all ready to do that. But at 14, actually, a priest persuaded him not to transfer to the seminary. He later talked about that, and whether the priest was saving him from priesthood or the priesthood from me, I don't know. But quite soon after, he started doing drama, and that's a real connection. He also said that there's other directors out there that I didn't know. He name dropped several: Martin Scorsese, John Woo, and M. Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan? Is it Shyamalan?
Shyamalan. They apparently were going to go into the priesthood, but a good director.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, I will finish with Robert Carlyle. He makes an uncredited appearance as John Lennon.
Yes.
And I, like you, Maggie, were thrown back. I saw that and I was like, holy cow, this dude he looks a lot like John Lennon.
Yeah.
All of us, of course, know that that's not possible, although it could be in this dual universe thing going on. Mr. Carlyle, Scottish actor, includes Trainspotting, The Full Monty. If you haven't seen it, Maggie, you need to watch it. The World Is Not Enough. That's a James Bond movie, and Angela's Ashes, an Irish movie that I love, and you should watch that as well. Anyway, Robert Carlyle, tip of the hat, great rendition of John Lennon. So.
Yeah. What do you want to rate this at, Dad?
God, I love the music. you could just play just about anything, and if it and this one was chock full of just a ton of. It's almost like Cruella. I mean, we went gaga over Cruella with the number of needle drops, and hey, let's face it, if your budget's 26 million and you spent 10 million for the Beatle rights to be able to do all of these Beatles songs, it's worth the watch, if nothing more than the listen.
Yeah.
So.
And the fact that Himesh Patel, he actually sang and played all those songs himself, so that was pretty dang impressive. So that I don't know, this movie to me, I mean, it made me tear up from that one scene that I was talking about, and at the end, because it was just such a stellar ending. I just thought it was so good. Sometimes movies just kind of end and you're like, no, it's over. All right, So no, the ending to me was just it was perfect, and I really do love a good ending. So I'm gonna go pretty high on this one. The only reason I'm not giving it a 5, which is crazy, is because the few times I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 4.9.
Long and winding road. It sucks you in, Mags. Long and winding road. You're going back to Decatur.
When you
marching band
made my video, I know, Dad, it was amazing, and I wanted to hear more of Hey Jude, and I was like, right. I got so into it because that was such a special time for all of us, and and then you did my senior video with that, and it was, this movie was impressive, to say the least. And I don't know, the only reason I'm not giving it a 5 is because the few times where I was like, what did they say? And I had to stop it. I'm going to give it a 4.9. It was really, really amazing.
No, I get it. I mean, there's movies are they touch people a lot of different ways, and in your case, and at least partially in my case, it brings back a lot of memories, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that watched it felt the same way, and I will feel equally as high, probably not as high as you, only raise the bar kind of thing, but I'll go 4.7 just because it was a fun movie. And that may be the highest rating I've given a movie already this year in our 9-10 podcast. So
yeah, I know I haven't gone that high. I don't think so.
Fun. No, it was fun.
I'm going to give it 4.9 guitars.
4.7 broken teeth.
Reverse rabbit. That was so funny. Man, that was good. Good.
So,
okay.
While we segue into this other part, I promised, so it's a little story for our folks. I think I said something to you about this, Maggie. So I'm going to bore the podcast folks with this, but 2 weekends ago, the grandkids in Indianapolis were over, and they started hearing about, I had probably mentioned our podcast, so they wanted to watch. And of course, the first couple episodes we watched, conveniently, I don't know, for whatever reason, I can't remember, but I was talking about Ireland and her love of Marvel movies, and I mentioned her name a couple times, and I looked over at Emmett, and he started getting kind of dejected, like, hey, wait a minute, who ate my ice cream? But I said, dude, I know I talked about you in another episode, we just probably didn't watch it. So anyway, this is for Emmett Doppert, and Morgan, I'll send you a picture. You can put him up there and just blow his little world up.
Love you, Emmett, and Ireland.
Yes.
And the rest of the family.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, so I had a little fun thing, just kind of going off of what we've been saying the last couple weeks. The first one that we did the very first film ever made, and you had some stuff you added to that. So today I wanted to talk about the very first movie that was in color. You know what it is?
Going way back, little lady.
Going way back. You know what it is, Dad? You should.
I probably do, but I'll let you go ahead and say it.
Okay. August 25th, 1939's Wizard of Oz.
Is that the first Technicolor where it segued into that? That's crazy.
It's a fantasy musical, 1 hour and 52 minutes. This movie is starring Judy Garland as Dorothy, Ray Bolger as the Scarecrow, Burt Lahr, the Cowardly Lion, Jack Haley, the Tin Man, Frank Morgan, the Wizard of Oz himself. Billy Burke was Glinda the Good Witch, Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch, Clara Blandike, Auntie M, and Terry the dog as Toto. So, this, if you don't know, which that would be strange to me if you don't know The Wizard of Oz, just a little bit, the part where Dorothy gets caught in the tornado, or the Twister, and she ends up making it to the house, and it's spinning out of control, and then it finally lands, and she's all shook up or whatever, and then when she opens up, so the whole front part of that was all black and white, and she opens up that door, and it's all in the color, and it's like beautiful colors, and that right there was the first time that people had seen a movie in color, and it was just, I know how cool it was when I was a kid, and we had color TV, but at the same time, we also had black and white TV still, so, but that movie was, that just kind of opened the door for a whole new playing field. It was really fun. So, this movie was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, and they winning in 2 categories for Best Song Over the Rainbow and Best Original Score. I did not know what original score was, so I had to look it up. So this is...
That's what's going to be on here, mate. Morgan is going to go original score. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. So the Academy Award for the Best and Original Score is an award presented annually by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to the best substantial body of music in the form of dramatic underscoring written specifically for the film by the submitting composer. Some pre-existing music is allowed, though, but a contending film must include a minimum of original music. This minimum since 2020 is established in 60% of the music, which is raised to 80% for sequels and franchise films. 15 scores are shortlisted before nominations are announced. And the first award for that was in February 27th, 1935. So that was 86 years ago. So I thought that was fun.
Awesome. I think I gave a little tidbit 2 episodes ago where we were talking about, I talked about Toto, and Toto the dog, I think, made more than most of the Munchkins who starred in that film.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a fun fact for you. This is going to be, and it's going to go completely the opposite direction, but we're going to talk about Halloween.
Oh, God. Oh, it's starting to get to be that time.
Halloween. So the 1978 slasher film Halloween, it was a really paltry budget. So it didn't allow a lot for all sorts of things. So what the crew did was they spray painted a Captain Kirk mask white. I've heard everything from spray painted to white out, and adjusted the eyes and the hair, and Michael Myers was born. And if you look at that franchise, it's pretty big. So,
Yeah, there's. Golly.
yeah. So
A lot of those movies. Oh, yeah.
Maggie, you were not even born yet when that came out.
Yep. But always a
But I
classic.
think I took Josh to the movie. Knowing me, 1 year old, I probably took him to the movie.
Joshua, let's go.
Let's
You're
go.
gonna love it. Such as Gary when he walks so slow, but yet somehow he always caught up to everybody.
Yes, he did.
Creepy, creepy, creepy. Approximately how many times have you seen your most viewed movie?
I think we did this already. But I'll say it anyway. Little Big Man, probably 11 or 12 times.
Oh, yeah, probably. I know the Goonies I've probably seen 25 times or something. Oh, but you know what? I probably had seen more than that because when I would come, when it was your weekend when we were little, Hope and I we would go play outside. We'd make ourselves some lunch, and then we would sit down and we would watch Beetlejuice and Mannequin every single time. It was every other weekend, like, and sometimes even twice a weekend. So probably those two I watched. I mean, countless. I don't even know, but most of it was when I was a kid. So it's been a while now, but I feel like I probably could recite every bit of it, you know? Turn the volume off and I knew exactly what they were going to say.
I think I saw Little Big Man at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 times in the theater, and then multiple times after that. So.
Oh, wow. Who is your most favorite actress? Did we ever do that? Jennifer Aniston. I always go to her. She's amazing. I don't know. I mean, I like a lot of actresses. When I was little, it was Meg Ryan. I don't know why. I really liked Meg Ryan. What was the scariest movie that you have ever seen?
There was this movie that I watched at the drive-in. So I'm going to tell a little story.
Yes, please do.
Drive-in movies were back in the day they were horrible, but they were just scary enough to just kind of drive you crazy. And I think it was one of those dual deals. So it might have been Night of the Living Dead and this other British kind of thing. But anyway, I think I was on a date. Can't remember, but I do remember this. I do remember like coming home and parking the car and running from my car to the back door just to get in.
That's funny.
It's like, oh my God. Yeah, because your mind just starts racing. But like Night of the Living Dead, it's George Romero, a classic, and people can just poke holes in it. But back in the day, seeing something like that, it allowed your mind to just race, and some of the simple things. But
yeah,
I don't know if you've ever seen it, Maggie. I mean, it's
probably would have when I was younger. I don't know, but I wouldn't watch it now. No, because it would be too scary. But
so you are not
probably stupid.
You know what's interesting, and I'm going to get in trouble because I'm going to mention Ireland's name again. But back both of them and Emmett. I'll mention Emmett. Emmett would come over to the house and say, "Hey, I want to watch a zombie movie." And I kid you not, this was multiple weekends. We would start World War Z. He would get 5 minutes into this movie, and we'd have to turn it off. Well, he finally, a couple weekends ago, I said, "Dude, you want to watch World War Z?" And we made it through it. So, but Ireland, she went totally opposite. So she's into Stranger Things, scary movies, all of the Marvel movies. I mean, she's turned into a little movie buff.
I wonder where she gets that from.
I don't know.
That's funny. So I'll have to say, probably the scariest movies I've ever seen, Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, Freddy Krueger comes and gets you in your nightmares. Like, that sucks. I have very, very vivid dreams, and that just scares out of me. I can't. Sorry. That's too scary. That's really scary for me. Besides the ones that I won't watch that are supernatural. So
yeah, you won't watch this, and Carol won't watch this, but I mean, this goes back into the late 70s, The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah, no. I've seen it, but no, not anymore. I won't watch it again.
Well, we'll wrap it up. So appreciate everybody watching. Please, especially my name drops, comment, like, subscribe. You know who you are. Let's go. Mags?
Kate McKinnon.
That's right.
I got nothing. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.